Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. College ranking NCAA transfers: Texas Tech Red Raiders, LSU Tigers, Oregon Ducks, Ole Miss. Oregon Ducks for 3. Number 4 is Ole Miss Rebels. Number 5 is University of Miami. Missouri Tigers are 6. Auburn Tigers are 7. Nebraska Cornhuskers are 8. The Florida Seminoles were 9. 10 was the Texas A&M Aggies. New Jersey Devils are eliminated by the Hurricane 5-4 overtime. Warriors, wily veteran team, 7 seed, have a chance of taking the game from the better team of the two during the regular season. The Rockets have a chance to be knocked out even as a 2 seed. Tip is at 6:30. Timberwolves have a chance to upset the Lakers at home. Tip is at 9, ESPN. That's NBA. And notable NBA also, Milwaukee Bucks fall short and get eliminated 119-118. Boston Celtics win Game 5. They advance over the Atlanta Magic. Check ESPN for baseball tab and more. Now on to mental health. I've never done a series like this. Also, this episode and podcast will be uploaded to YouTube and SoundCloud. There'll be different ways of playing it. And SoundCloud, you'll get a song, similar song to this song of Yelling Suicide. And then I'll give you that similar song in SoundCloud. So on SoundCloud here that comes. Video. Next is Where May Suicide May Lead Us. We're going to talk about that for a minute. Suicide may lead us to low self-esteem, meaning we're tired, dark, but we're not giving up. Let's lead into the darkness question of now and how we can improve that. Here's the darkness video and or song.
It is so debilitating. It is so crushing. It crushes the will to live.
A bunch of ups and downs destroyed a lot of my friendships and relationships.
I was working in a cool job, and everything I could think the entire day was, how do I kill myself?
People were talking about, oh, when you get better. I'm like, when I get better, what are you talking about? This is how I'm gonna be for the rest of my life.
How did I get here? How did it get to a point where I can't control myself?
Understand of what people live through with bipolar, and for me it's bipolar and schizoaffective. Bipolar is a debilitating disease, and I'm only on my 8th and a half, and it's still debilitating, and we haven't even gotten to my 8th year actually. That's on bipolar.
Let's say that every time you invited a friend out for lunch, they turned up late or didn't turn up at all, they didn't text back, they just kept not holding to their word. After a while, you wouldn't believe in them, you wouldn't be friends with them, and you'd stop inviting them out to lunch. You are that friend to yourself. How on earth do you think that you're going to be able to move mountains and get out of that relationship that you don't like and move countries or change career when you can't not hit snooze, even though last night you promised yourself that you weren't going to hit snooze? It's how people that are able to do extraordinary things have been able to get there, that they've just started off unbelievably small. I'm just not going to hit the snooze button. I'm just not going to use my phone before 9 a.m. Mark Manson quote here is, the person you have to spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose their respect. Self-respect and self-esteem, I think, largely comes from having faith in your own word.
To improve your self-esteem. So I've already done a similar episode on how to improve your self-confidence. And now I'm turning my attention to self-esteem. Self-confidence and self-esteem are related, but they're actually separate issues. Self-confidence is related to efficacy. It's the belief that all other things being equal, you can do something, that you will be successful in the attempt. On the other hand, self-esteem is more like all other things being equal, I feel good about who I am as a person, as a human being. Unfortunately, there are a lot of folks out there who struggle with self-esteem issues. They may even be very successful and self-confident, but they have low self-esteem nonetheless. These folks don't think very highly of themselves and don't really feel good inside of their own skin. Fortunately, there is a simple and effective way to improve your self-esteem. But before I get into what that is, please remember to like this episode and subscribe to this channel. It takes less than a second, costs you nothing, and it's definitely an esteemable action. So do the thing. So improving your self-esteem isn't that complicated. The formula has two parts. First, you need to do difficult or esteemable things. And that kind of makes sense. It's pretty hard to feel like you're a good person if you're not doing anything that you yourself would consider difficult or esteemable. So pick a goal and go after it. Do something hard. Do something that you can be proud of having done. People don't get genuine self-esteem from sitting on the couch and scrolling on social media. They need to do difficult or esteemable things. And frankly, you probably already knew this. But here's the thing. The first part is not enough. You need to also do the second part, and this is the part that's really neglected in today's day and age. In order to develop self-esteem, not only do you have to do difficult and esteemable things, but you have to do difficult and esteemable things and not tell anyone about them. Ooh. That's the hard part in the age of social media. So why is this important? This is important because if you do something difficult or esteemable and then you share it with others, then you substitute self-validation for external validation. In fact, you rob yourself of the opportunity for self-validation, which is the basis of self-esteem. You exchange your own internal satisfaction for praise, views, and likes. And when you do that, you're basically training your mind to understand that the reward for difficult or esteemable action is the praise or validation of others. And the longer you do that, the more you will rely on external validation for your own self-regulation. And the more you will need to prop up your own self-esteem with the praise of others. Taken to its extreme, people are subject to becoming like validation junkies. And this can be as addictive as any substance addiction. In fact, we would call it a process addiction, like gambling, and it can lead to some very dark places. So the idea here is to do difficult or esteemable things and not tell anyone about them. This will give you the opportunity to validate and esteem yourself, which is how you get self-esteem. And how do you do that? Well, you kind of have to talk to yourself in a supportive and encouraging way. Like, I'm proud of what I did today. Or, I was scared, but I did it anyway. Or, I wanted to quit, but I kept going. Good job, Orion. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but that's the kind of self-validation that facilitates the cultivation of healthy self-esteem. If you do this, then over time, you'll find that you won't need as much external validation. In fact, you'll eventually become indifferent to both praise and censure, and this is a supremely good thing. Why? Because if you're still emotionally influenced by whether people agree or disagree with you, or like or don't like you, or praise or censure you, then you're still more or less a slave. And not just a slave, but a slave with a million masters. By learning to validate ourselves sufficiently, we can experience a kind of emotional manumission, whereby we can emancipate ourselves from the slavery of external validation. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for listening.
That's Sam on sports and mental health. Real quick update on the Royals. In baseball, Royals lead the Rays 2-0. Bottom third. Royals won yesterday's game 3-1. Cardinals lead the Reds 9-0. And the Cardinals take game 1, a doubleheader, 6-0. As the Cardinals game was rained out last night, have scored 15 unanswered runs today in back-to-back games. And the Cubs are losing to the Pirates 1-0 after the Cubs won last night 9-0. That's baseball.